Hey guys, Brian Gray, Leaf CEO, and we are live at the National Sports Collectors Convention here in beautiful Chi-Town, Windy City. We are getting ready for something big. Big show.
Hobby Hot Takes ahead of the National Sports Collectors Convention, which begins tomorrow. What's the vibe of the hobby heading into the biggest sports card show of the year? We will examine. Also on today's show, we will take a look at some values of some sports cards that may surprise you. But first, I do want to take a moment and acknowledge that Betsy Higgins' husband, Brent, has officially lost his job at PWCC. Fanatics has decided to move on from the founder after purchasing the company just a couple short months ago. We at Sports Card Radio want Betsy Higgins to know that we are here for her during this difficult time, and if there is anything that she might need, please let us know. But let's get the party started and look at some sports card values. Here are some cards of players who aren't GOATs, but these card prices certainly have them approaching GOAT pricing in the sports card world. Brock Purdy gold vinyl 5 of 5 rookie card sold for $8,600. People around San Francisco aren't even sure he's going to be 100% healthy this year, so we'll see if the Purdy train keeps on rolling. This Desmond Ridder Optic Downtown gold card sold for $3,000. Here's a hobby hot take. These cards are actually ugly. Actually, one of our hobby hot takes today comes from @KDM211, who says, downtowns are the ugliest inserts that people pay crazy money for. I actually couldn't agree more. Along the same lines as 2022 Panini Absolute Kaboom, Chris Olave sold for $2,900. Next, they'll make some Barbie-looking cards, and you guys will be all over those, I'm sure. Carmelo Anthony. Melo is a lot like the players these youngsters collect today. Luka, Trey, Ja, Zion. These players put up incredible stats, look amazing, but when it comes time to winning in the playoffs, their teams fall short. Despite all of that, this is good news for all of you guys who collect players who don't win championships. $16,800 for a one-of-one non-rookie autograph is huge money for a Carmelo Anthony card. Speaking of huge money, $6,600 is massive money for a Stephon Marbury card. Many of you are lucky Marbury came along during the 1990s when cards were much cheaper. Marbury had more talent than your golden boys, Ja and Trey. Could you imagine the money you would have spent on Steph Marbury cards had he come around a few years later? Everyone in Sacramento knows Peja Stojakovic. $5,700 for his exquisite patch card is big money. How much would it sell for if he didn't airball during Game 7 against the Lakers all those years ago? $4,500 for an Obi Toppin Gold Prism rookie card. $4,500 for an Obi Toppin Gold Prism rookie card. Okay, I'm going to have to definitely stop making videos about the card market crashing.
All right, there it is. Shirts off.
Hobby hot take time. The first one comes from Philly Cards. The National, even though it gets a huge crowd, still effing sucks. Too many overpriced tables and sellers who try to capitalize on teenagers and their savings account. I think the National has always featured overpriced cards to a degree. It's more of a museum. You can go and see a lot of cards in person that you may never be able to see before. Part of the reason why I don't go anymore is because the crowds are so big now. When I was going about 10 years ago, there were probably 90% fewer people who went to the National. With the crowds today being around that many card fondlers actually seems more annoying than fun. So I don't blame anyone who doesn't want to attend the National. It's an overpriced, overcrowded room full of men who all think they are the smartest people in the room. It's certainly a hard pass for me.
As you know, with me, it's all about the vibes.
Next up, Bees Nest Montana 9013 says nobody gives a S about Mickey Mantle, and in 10 years, those 52s will be worth like $15,000 tops. The thing about Mickey Mantle is he played for one of the most historical franchises in all of sports. So if people give a shit about Aaron Judge, Derek Jeter, Anthony Volpe, or Jason Dominguez, they actually are going to have to give a shit about Mickey Mantle, because to be a great Yankee, you will be compared to Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, and on and on. So I think Mantle has more connection to today's players, certainly Yankees players, than he gets credit for. Big Fungus 19 says, I cannot stand card collector twos. weak little squeaky voice. But just know that Ty Wilson did say Card Collector 2 was good for the hobby.
This hobby in the sports card world, there is a void that exists with good, wholesome content.
$50 homage, a t-shirt. Both of those will be mailed to you.
Joe Marsh 2050 says Geoff Wilson will run for president in 2028.
I mean, just wild bets.
Ziggy No says tuxedos are for prom night teens. Real men use PSA.
Bad information.
The 047 Sports TCG card says hobby positivity is overrated. Hobby integrity is underrated.
But 1, 2, or even 3 of them might come back as authentic.
Breakout card says don't get into cards full time. A large majority will fail. In the long run, it's better to spend time on improving skills for a better paying job or scaling a side hustle or business. Going into sports cards full-time could be difficult, but one way to get a lot of life skills and job skills is through buying and selling sports cards. There are a lot of skills that I learned through sports cards that did, believe it or not, lead to higher paying opportunities. So while sports cards may not be the end game for a lot of people, you can develop a lot of skills needed in life by being involved in the hobby and buying and selling sports cards.
My parents raised me well.
He Highlanders 607 says, with both response videos taken down, does this mean we won't be getting the Ty I told you so video?
I had the opportunity to run around screaming, I told you so!
The Metsogynist says, can you guys talk about the fact that there are no Jordan Walker autographs in Topps Finest, even though he is on the checklist? And Topps is just quiet about it. This might be a hobby hot take, but stop buying into new products. If your only way to enjoy the hobby is opening packs or buying into breaks, you're at the mercy of the casino, aka Topps, Fanatics, and Panini, and how they treat you. They'll put redemptions and products that they'll never redeem. They'll put players on the checklist that aren't actually in the product. And the biggest hits in the boxes will be funneled to the chosen few. So whether Jordan Walker was or wasn't on the checklist, Topps deep down knows that you'll still buy it.
That is a Tesla.
Last hot take comes from Mike McClintock 3893. I think Chasing Cardboard and Jab's family should have their own podcast so they can bloviate about all the great they do for the card community and their followers. I couldn't agree more. I would be tuning into that. Any type of collaboration between Chasing Cardboard and Jab's family, I would certainly be all over. What will be all over this week is coverage of the National. Join us live on Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, for a live show about all things going on at the National Sports Collectors Convention. We expect to see you there. We expect to see you in the chat all fired up. And until next time, we will see you right here on Sports Card Radio.
But I shower with Geoff all the time.